The recently concluded X-Men 97 is easily one of Marvel's finest moments in recent times, and the animated series has successfully carried forward the legacy of the original 90s cartoon. Not only does X-Men 97 continue the world building from X-Men the animated series, but it is enhanced further by a wide array of cameos that pay tribute to the rich comic book history and the long line of animated shows. From popular superheroes and villains to some lesser-known faces, the cameos have been a fun surprise for the viewers, and in this video, we will explore every single cameo that you will see in the series. A majority of these cameos have been seen in the 3-part season finale and the 5th episode featuring the Genosha Massacre, but a few others are scattered across the entire series. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Stand down, Rogue.
Captain America, the righteous super soldier and key member of the Avengers, is one of the most impactful cameos in the show because of the kind of role that he has been assigned. We first saw him in episode 7, following the massacre in Genosha that killed Gambit. His love interest, Rogue, was furious and determined to find out the real culprits behind the tragedy. She attacked a secret military facility while looking for Henry Gyrich, who she believed was one of the key conspirators. The soldiers at the facility stood no chance against her, but Captain America interrupted her in the final moments. True to his style, he tried to convince her that her methods were wrong and could have a negative impact on the situation. But Rogue was too far beyond reasoning, and she almost got the upper hand on Captain America. Although, to be fair, he wasn't really fighting her. The scene suggested that Captain America understood the agony of the mutants, and he was simply duty-bound to act a certain way, stopping Rogue being one of them. Of course, he probably did not appreciate how his shield was flung away by Rogue before she went ahead with her mission. In the season finale, he could be seen standing by President Kelly when Magneto's electromagnetic pulse is reversed and power is restored. Later, Captain America could be seen in the war room meeting alongside President Kelly. Asteroid M threatened to wipe out human existence, and most of the President's advisors suggested that they needed to activate the Magneto Protocol and fire multiple missiles at the asteroid. Captain America suggested otherwise because he felt that it was an unfair decision, and moreover, people weren't really familiar with the true nature of Asteroid M. The president still went ahead with a plan though, and a disappointed Captain America stood helplessly. Spider-Man and Mary Jane. While X-Men the Animated Series was widely popular during the 90s, Spider-Man the Animated Series wasn't too far behind. And it's not surprising that X-Men 97 tried to make the most out of the web-slinger with several subtle cameos throughout the series. The presence was sometimes simply via news articles that featured photographs of Peter Parker, while other appearances in the season finale had a physical presence as well. We first saw Spider-Man observing the effects of a global blackout caused by Magneto's electromagnetic pulse. Later, in the final episode of the season, he could be seen standing among a crowd and watching the news of Asteroid M crashing onto the Earth. He was surprisingly calm though, when faced with such an extinction-level threat, and he appeared alongside his lady love, Mary Jane Watson. Spider-Man the Animated Series had ended with Spider-Man traveling through time to find Mary Jane after his enemies replaced her with a clone, and chances are he was successful. Can we hope to get a revival of the iconic 90s Spider-Man series as well? Let's just keep our finger crossed for this one. Iron Man. It has been a very long time since we last saw the charismatic and stylish Avenger in the animated universe, and Iron Man made a much-awaited comeback in X-Men 97. In the season finale, he could be seen standing alongside Captain America when the power came back on in President Kelly's office. Suddenly, they had to spring into action after a couple of Prime Sentinels attacked the President. At the end of the episode, both of them could be seen alongside the President again, and it seems like they made quick work of the Prime Sentinels without a fuss. Daredevil. Magneto's powerful attack on humanity not only threw the world into darkness, but also ignited chaos and looting in the cities. This is when Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, makes an appearance. He's no stranger to the Marvel animated universe, having previously appeared in Spider-Man the Animated Series, and it was a nice move introducing him in X-Men 97. He can be seen fighting a group of looters, and later, he is taken down by one of the Prime Sentinels. He does recover from the hit, and this feisty street-level defender clearly has a task at hand, with the society taking laws into its own hands. He almost ended up having his own animated series in the 90s. And wouldn't we be delighted if something similar is on the cards in the near future? Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger are two relatively underrated Marvel characters who can be seen in the final episode of X-Men 97, fighting street thugs alongside Daredevil. Both Cloak and Dagger draw their powers from the emotions of people they touch. Dagger derives the powers through hope, and Cloak does the same through fear. And this is a unique duo who can be quite a handful. In X-Men 97, however, we see them more reliant on their fist-fighting techniques as the going gets tough in the chaotic world. They help Daredevil get back up on his feet after a Prime Sentinel knocks him out, and their defiance and badass attitude is a defining moment among the cameos. Doctor Strange. It has been a rather long time since Doctor Strange last appeared on the animated platform, his last appearance being the Incredible Hulk almost 25 years ago. He can be seen in X-Men 97 when the season finale shows him performing a surgery in candlelight after the world is thrown into darkness. He's apparently still performing his doctor duties even after becoming a powerful wizard, and he's wearing the cloak of levitation over his scrubs. It seems like he's ready for action at any given moment, and given how the other key members of the Avengers are around, we would love for a combined sequence to make things much more exciting in the next season. Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai in X-Men 97 doesn't have much of a role, other than looking on at all that's happening because of Magneto, but his appearance has been a treat for the fans nonetheless. This powerful mutant can generate a force field around objects, and he has been cast as both a hero and a villain in his various appearances. He first appears in the first episode of the three-part finale, and he can be seen looking out of his home temple towards the sky as Magneto's electromagnetic pulse shows its effect on the planet. We see the same stoical look in Silver Samurai in the final episode when he looks on as the power is restored. He is very much a part of the X-Men 97 timeline because he appeared in X-Men the Animated Series where Wolverine got the better of him during a fight. It would be interesting to observe where his storyline goes from here.
From the hearts that start dripping red at the latest token underdog.
Black Panther and Dora Milaje. King T'Chaka, or the Black Panther, can be seen in a small but impactful role in the X-Men 97 finale when his palace comes under attack from the Prime Sentinels. He jumps into action with his claws drawn as the Sentinels breach the defenses of Wakanda. And Black Panther is not alone, as several members of the Dora Milaje, the Prime Warriors, are also alongside him. Later, Black Panther can be seen once again when he tries to convince President Kelly, just like Captain America, against activating the Magneto Protocol and firing missiles at Asteroid M. There has been some confusion regarding this cameo because many fans did not understand that King T'Chaka is actually the Black Panther. Earlier in the MCU, King T'Chaka is killed in an attack and his son T'Challa takes up the mantle of the Black Panther. However, the narrative in the animated universe is slightly different, and this is the original Black Panther that we see in action. The Winter Guard. Things wouldn't have been nearly as interesting if the only cameos in X-Men 97 were those of superheroes. The Winter Guard tilts the balance perfectly, and we see the deadly Russian super team comprising the likes of Omega Red, Darkstar, and Crimson Dynamo. They can be seen fighting the Prime Sentinels, and it seems like for once they are aligned with the goals of the X-Men. They are defending a politician, and they are back in business because of how Omega Red was freed from his own hibernation capsule by Magneto's powerful electromagnetic pulse. Crimson Dynamo and Darkstar were held in the same facility, and we wonder if more powerful villains have been secretly locked up there. All of them have appeared in the Marvel animated universe, and the vicious and sadistic Omega Red featured in the original X-Men animated series. Darkstar went from being his ally to shifting allegiances and siding with the X-Men, and Crimson Dynamo is a well-known Iron Man villain who appeared in the Iron Man animated series. Now that they're all out in the open, how will they be contained? This does lead us into the possibility of seeing more of them in the upcoming season. Magneto's Children, Scarlet Witch, Polaris, and Quicksilver. The three children of Magneto do appear in a blink and you miss it cameo role, but their appearance does point to a major change in Magneto's story arc. They can be seen when Professor Xavier infiltrated the mind of Magneto, and we get a metaphorical representation of his thoughts and memories. Rogue can be seen at the forefront of a boat stuck in a crazy sea storm, and Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Polaris appear momentarily in a shadow behind Rogue. It's probably an indication of how much love Magneto has for his children. Contrary to popular belief that he abandoned his children, it seems to be like the other way around, because he admits his pain before Xavier and says, "She left me, so many dead." Both Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are aware of Magneto being their real father after they appeared in X-Men the Animated Series, and we have seen Morph transforming into Quicksilver for a moment in episode 7 as well. Polaris had a rather limited appearance previously, and it is unlikely that things will change drastically because it was just an image inside Magneto's head.
Gray, this is my husband, Scott Summers.
You may call me Mother Ascani.
Mother Ascani. We see Mother Ascani in a futuristic timeline where Cyclops and Jean Grey find themselves after Asteroid M is obliterated and the X-Men are scattered across multiple timelines. Mother Ascani appears alongside a group of warriors, and a young Nathan Summers tells her that Jean and Scott Summers mean them no harm. The comic book readers will know that Mother Ascani is actually Rachel Summers, the daughter of Scott and Jean from an alternate apocalyptic future. This dystopian future is ruled by the mighty Apocalypse, and Mother Ascani is the rebel leader fighting against him. You can expect to see a lot more of her in a major story arc next season, and Cyclops and Jean Grey will probably get the chance of grooming their young son Nathan and fighting alongside Rachel Summers in this timeline. Hulk and Mr. Fantastic. As we know, Morph has the shape-shifting ability to transform into just about anyone, and over the course of X-Men 97, we have seen Morph change into multiple characters, giving rise to some exciting cameos. One of the key moments was when Morph transformed into Mr. Fantastic while fighting the Prime Sentinels. He makes good use of his elasticity powers in the fight, and later we see him changing into Sauron, the vampiric pterodactyl, to fly away and escape. The winged dinosaur-like mutant Sauron hails from Savage Land, and this transformation helps Morph fly safely to the ground. Morph also transformed into the Hulk while fighting the Prime Sentinels in Bastion's lair, and this seemed to be quite effective for a while. He could mimic the powers of this powerful superhero and smashed his way as the Sentinels stood no chance against the fury of Morph Smash. Juggernaut. While we don't get to see Juggernaut directly in action, Morph eases the disappointment with one of his transformations. In episode 8, Morph briefly turns into the powerful mutant Juggernaut and uses his incredible brute strength to fight the Prime Sentinels. It's not the most impactful attack, but we do get to see Juggernaut for a while, and it brings back loads of fond memories of this notorious member of the Brotherhood of Mutants. We have seen his Superman force in X-Men the Animated Series, and it might just be the time for some Juggernaut action in X-Men 97 as well. Every mutant on Forge's wall. We don't know if it is fair to call this a cameo, but these are some crucial appearances nonetheless. At the end of the final episode of X-Men 97, the X-Men are stuck in different timelines, and the world has assumed that they are dead. Forge is paid a visit by Bishop, who informs him about the dangers awaiting the X-Men. During this scene, we get a quick glimpse of the wall behind Forge, which has a long line of pictures of various mutants and their status. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are off-world, which might indicate their presence in a parallel universe. Meanwhile, mutants with no labels on them can be assumed to be around. In that case, you can expect Colossus, Dust, Magic, Iceman, Havoc, Exodus, Emma Frost, and Shadowcat to make an appearance in the next season. If Forge requires a new team of X-Men in the present timeline, this can be his potential candidates, and this mini cameo might go on to become a defining moment in the narrative to come. Alpha Flight. The Alpha Flight is a government-sponsored mutant team from Canada, and this team includes the like of Psylocke, Puck, Aurora, Northstar, and Cypher. Also, Snowbird, Vindicator, Sasquatch, and Shaman are some of the other members of the Alpha Flight, but they do not appear in X-Men 97. You see Northstar, Psylocke, Aurora, Puck, and Cypher following the lethal attack on Genosha when a group of Prime Sentinels appear before them. Psylocke is the powerful telepathic energy blade-wielding mutant who previously appeared in a few episodes of X-Men the Animated Series. Even the likes of Northstar and Aurora have been seen in Slave Island, where Bolivar Trask enslaved them. Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is the notorious ruler of Latveria, and he is one of the most dreaded villains in the Fantastic Four universe. We see Victor Von Doom before his much-awaited MCU appearance, and X-Men 97 explores his grey character. Even though he's a part of Bastion's evil plans, he's careful about keeping his involvements a secret from the rest of the world. The horrors of Genosha and the magnitude of the destruction leaves him shocked, and it remains to be seen if the character is introduced further in Season 2. Baron Zemo. We get to see Baron Zemo in the first part of the X-Men 97 season finale, and his portrayal is quite comic book accurate. He is seen alongside Dr. Doom, while Bastion reveals the extent of his Prime Sentinel program in this episode. Unlike Dr. Doom, who is thrown off by the crimes in Genosha, Baron Zemo supports Bastion completely. He also offers a crucial word of advice, suggesting that the Prime Sentinel program will fail if the US president sees the X-Men as allies. It's quite likely that you will get to see Baron Zemo in some capacity in the upcoming episodes, because this sinister villain clearly thinks like Bastion and wants the X-Men to be enemies to the public eye. General William Stryker. This is a familiar face that many have missed out in X-Men 97 because of his minor appearance. The first part of the 3-part season finale brings in General William Stryker, who shows up on television. He's known for preaching hate against the mutants, and the absence of this major villain in X-Men the animated series came as a surprise. It's quite likely that the genocide in Genosha lured him to appear on TV to spread his hate, and it will be interesting to see where his character heads from here.
Need I remind you that we're standing in the same place built to hold the Hulk?
General Thaddius Ross. This has been a surprising and unexpected cameo, and General Thaddius Ross in the 7th episode of X-Men 97 has a rather fun appearance. Rogue charges a secret military facility seeking answers for the Genosha massacre and death of Gambit. General Ross turns out to be the one in charge of the facility, and he is initially quite confident that Rogue wouldn't be able to breach the defenses of the facility, which have been created to hold the Hulk. However, Rogue still breaks in effortlessly, and General Ross doesn't have the most courageous face in such danger. Amilia VA. She can be seen in the aftermath of the Genosha massacre, and Beast interacts with her and tries to get an idea about the magnitude of the damage done. She seems to be helping in the relief efforts, and this powerful character has the ability to turn matter into vapor. Amilia VA has been a member of the Acolytes in the X-Men animated series from the 90s, and she is also a well-known love interest of Professor Xavier, even though this hasn't been explored in X-Men 97. Uatu the Watcher. This cosmic entity in the Marvel Universe only appears when an event of great historical significance takes place. We can see the Watcher in the sky above the fireworks, and this is a subtle hint at the importance of the Genosha massacre as an event that cannot be changed even by going back in time. Mutant scene in Genosha. Before the deadly Sentinel attack turned Genosha into a genocide, we get a quick look at some interesting mutants. The Governing Council of Genosha introduced characters like Sebastian Shaw, Moira McTaggart, Emma Frost, Banshee, and Callisto. Among the several mutants seen in this safe haven mutant nation are the likes of WizKid, Glob Herman, Leech, Pixie, The Fallen, Nature Girl, Exodus, Multiple Man, Squid Boy, Dazzler, Archangel, Marrow, and many others. Of course, a majority of them can be presumed dead, following the thousands that died in the aftermath of the attack by Bastion's Prime Sentinels. Could the X-Men be fighting the Avengers in Season 2? This might seem like an outrageous idea at the first glance, because why would be the good guys fight the other good guys in the same world? But the reality is quite different from what common sense allows you to think. We have seen that the Avengers are loyal to the government and abide by their decisions, even if they do not support the same. President Kelly has already been shown to be losing power, and the mutant-hating Graydon Creed is rising through the popularity ranks. Under such circumstances, a new government can take a stand against the X-Men, and if the Avengers are asked to bring them in, you can expect some fireworks to go off. We have already witnessed a mini battle between Rogue and Captain America, and a full-blown conflict can see other members of the Avengers as well, fighting the X-Men simply because duty forces them to do so. Marvelous Verdict. You might see more of these cameos in Season 2. While the cameos are fun to notice and fit into the narrative perfectly, we cannot help but wonder if the showrunners have more in their minds than just these minimal appearances of these characters. We have already seen a little more than a fleeting glimpse of some of these cameos, and the likes of Captain America, for instance, have been directly involved in the story. Will we get to see more important roles assigned to some of these cameo characters? Well, the chances are quite positive because clearly the show has no issue with rights and other legal complications. It has been established that these characters brought in through cameos are a part of the same universe, and in that case, it's not impossible that they will have major roles to play going ahead. We have already discussed the possibility of an Avengers vs X-Men scenario, and if that does happen, be prepared for some intense, mouth-watering action in the upcoming season. Tell us in the comments below about your favorite cameo from the list. We would also love to know your thoughts on the possibility of some of these cameos turning into full-fledged story arcs in the next season. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!